happy to do that. Like, otherwise, why does Devonte Adams, as great as a player he is? Let's just be realistic here. If there's not some reason why taking $15 million when he could have hit the open market that year and probably gotten 18 or more because of his production level and his age, why take that money unless there's some incentive that is basically giving you more money? And that's what I hear is being reported most of the time. Is just they just
he's making $16 next year on 2020, and compared to
way
other wide
over
receivers,
market.
it's chump change. Yeah, compared to Odell, compared to Julio, Michael Thomas.
If Odell or Julio break their leg tomorrow, like Joe Theismann did, and they could never play again, they are literally going to see, 1/6 of that money they signed for? Because they didn't get all that money that's guaranteed right now. It's put in escrow, and the way it's written, they're paid so much, and every year it's in this bonus. And I don't know all the things, and I'm sure we could look it up or find somebody to explain it better. But from what I understand in articles and people I talk to and listen, they literally figure out a way to word the contract and such that the player, upon signing, gets like more money than he would literally get in the first couple 2-3 years of signing anywhere else as a free agent. And yet the team gets this great freaking deal against the cap and average annual salary and all that. It's just awesome, man. And that's what I expect to happen with Kenny Clark. And it's why they can keep a Devonte Adams. It's why they're going to be able to keep think a lot of these guys. It's why you don't want to trade for a guy like Ramsey, because he's not part of that culture. He's not going to come in and take that deal. He wants one of those deals like everybody else gets that seems better than it is, where you're going to be able to keep Kevin King, and if he earns it, and Jair and Savage and all these guys. You see what I'm saying? You're not just going to have 3 or 4 core players and keep having to rebuild around them. You're going to have a unit like they built out in Seattle for at least 3 or 4 years until everybody gets old, and then you got to kind of try to retool. But you'll have a chance at a real run just like some of these other teams did, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, I'm looking over 2020 right now, folks, and I'm staring at the list. The bump ups, Rodgers goes from 26 to 32 because they ended up backloading the deal. So last year was the cheaper end of the deal, so was this year. But still, he's making $32 million, which is, I believe, the 3rd or 4th highest QB contract. So he's not even the highest. Zadarius Smith jumps up to $17 million from 9. Devontae Adams jumps to 16. Bakhtiari's at 14, which rightfully so. Preston Smith jumps to 13.5. And here's the kicker: Jimmy Graham, $11 million or $11.6 million. Jay, if they cut him, they save $5 million for next year. If they wait till after the new league year starts before free agency, they can go ahead and cut him. Save $5 million.
They would have already done that, so I have no faith.
But see, that's the thing. This past year, once they did that with the league year, we would have taken a cap hit. We wouldn't have saved money. We would have taken a hit. And we needed that kind of every penny we needed with all the free agents we were bringing in and kind of the street free agents as well. I mean, that's why. We would have taken a hit, and we needed that extra money, so Jimmy had to stay on the team. Next year, it's a $3 million cap hit, $8 million in savings. You're saving $5 million, which brings us right now. We're sitting at $27 million in cap for 2020, which would bring us to $32 million, which would have us more than enough money to have re-signed Kenny Clark, Brian Bulaga, and Blake all in the same year.
And I am sorry, but guys, this is the same thing. It goes back to why we thought the whole Miami thing, we knew they were really serious about blowing this up. If Brian Bulaga is healthy, he's 29 right now, by the way. He'll be 30 at
He
some
was
point
rated the
this
best
season.
tackle in the past 2 weeks of football, by the way, people.
Yeah,
he gave up
this idea that he's
.05
like,
pressure rate.
this idea that he's like this 36-year-old guy that's needing to retire is kind of funny. He's had some injuries, but he plays about 12 to 14 games a year. I mean, unless he misses the whole year, which is that was like what, 2013 or something that freaking happened. I mean, it's been a long time since he's missed the whole year. He's a premier tackle, and he's a right freaking tackle. Like, on most teams, Brian Bulaga would be the starting left tackle. Let's be real.
If he never would have gotten hurt, Bakhtiari never comes in and starts.
He'd be the starting left tackle of the Packers probably.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And
because that was the year he was switching to left tackle.
Yep.
And they switched the guards, Taylor and Sitton.
That was, if he never gotten hurt, Bakhtiari would never be our stud left tackle. So we have two premier tackles on the same offensive line. Billy Turner got a lot more comfortable in week 2. Looks a lot more settled.
Lot better once Jenkins came.
Yeah, more smooth in his footwork.
Hell yeah. And he's going to get better. That's why you have to have this. You have to pick a starting 5, and it needs to be your best 5. And unless something really proves out that guy, there's a weak link, and you need to try to see if you can replace it, you don't do this screwing with it in and out and in and out and in and out.
Josh Allen just bull rushed Jack Conklin so hard. He basically sacked Mariota with his own offensive lineman. God, you know what I would have given to, if we didn't get Zadarius or Preston Smith and we still had a hole, if there was any chance for us getting Josh Allen, I wanted that kid. Him, Ed Oliver, those top 5 draft talent prospects, both of those guys almost fell to us. And I was rooting for Ed Oliver so hard that draft. But we still got a good prospect and a very good young man in Rashawn Gary. I'm happy with that still. But it's just, man, Ed Oliver and Josh Allen are freaking game changers.
I think Gary's just going to take a little more time because of this position switch where Oliver...
He played with his hand in the dirt in college. Now he's standing up.
Well, yeah, Oliver and Allen are both playing their natural positions from college in the NFL. So I just...
Allen has more freedom, too.
Right. I think it's going to take a couple of years, and then I think in a couple of years, I think Gary will live up to this where we see Allen and Oliver now. I just think it's going to take him some time. I just think when he hits, man, and oh my God, it's going to be
okay, here's this. Peter Bukowski put out a tweet, I think it was yesterday late or early this morning, and I was going through, and it caught my eye. It said, for everyone that wanted Brian Burns, yeah, he has a couple sacks on his belt already, but he goes, his pressure rate is not as high as you think. He goes, just because he's getting a couple sacks doesn't mean he's not affecting the play every time. He goes, he put the total number of snaps and plays, and I think it equaled out to like 17 or 18%. Rashawn Gary had 4 pressures, I think in, what was it, like 14 snaps? No, because of both games. He played a little more in the Minnesota game. He had 6 snaps in Chicago, and he had another 7 or 8 in the Minnesota game. And he had a 27 or 28 percentage pressure rate. So he was literally on the QB's heels or in his face with more percentage than Brian Burns people. And they were just running him off of pure stunts. That's it.
I was just going to say, and they were doing like the same thing over and over again, so you'd think the tackles and the guards would pick up on those games. So his athleticism...
Gary's so quick, you can't. He runs a 4.5 40. He's quick.
I mean, that's... yeah.
See, yeah, that's the thing. So people sitting there saying, like, I'm sorry, Bruce, I love you, Packers for the win, but you always sit there and put a teary-eyed face when you see Brian Burns highlights. Well, buddy, get over it. Rashawn Gary puts up a better pressure rate.
Dude,
he has a little less snaps.
Dave, was I not one of the biggest Brian Burns, I pounded the table
you
for
were.
him. I am not a bit sad when I watch Brian Burns and I watch Rashawn Gary, because to me, I think at the end of it all, Brian Burns is an undersized kind of tweener speed rusher. Gary is an oversized freak of freaking nature that he can both speed rush you and bull rush you. Like at the end of the day, when Gary develops, like, and again, it's if, but I have all the faith in the world that under this defensive staff, with the guys he has around him to help teach
He has
him,
time to learn, being a rotational guy too.
And with the way there's no pressure on him to make it too mentally tough on him too soon. Not that that's an issue. I'm not saying that either. I have all the faith in the world. At the end of the day, Rashawn Gary will probably be the guy he will be the Javon Curse of this draft. I believe that when it's all said and done. He's 6'5" and 270 freaking pounds, and he ran faster combine than 4 of our receivers on our offense and 2 of our running backs. Are you freaking kidding me? Stop it, people. He's a freak of nature. They don't make people like that. Humans don't walk around the earth, a lot of them. There's not a lot. And we haven't seen a lot of them play football like that. Like, that is, how would I say
It's amazing. It's amazing to me.
I can't think of it. He just played for us. Julius Peppers. That's Julius Peppers like crap right there, bud. Like Javon Curse, Julius Peppers are the first 2 guys that are that big. And I think he's faster than both of them.
No, Julius Peppers ran a 4.5 at 290 pounds and being 6'7".
There you go.
Julius was a little bit more of a, like, I'm not saying Gary's not a freak of nature, but Julius Peppers literally is the definition. If you look at, well, actually, he had what was tougher for him. He was 320 pounds at 6'7", still ran a 4.5, 4.6, being heavier, playing a 4.3 edge rusher in Chicago, and then came over to Green Bay, dropped 30 pounds, went to 290 pounds, gained a tenth of speed back, and was able to drop in coverage. I don't care what quarterback you are not throwing over a 40-inch vertical, 6'7", 290-pound mammoth. Like, Julius Peppers was Julius Peppers.
Of athletic freaks, yes.
Yeah, like, if you look athletic freak, you will see Julius Peppers' first name in there because of just, you think, oh, he's 6'7", 300 pounds. Why
I'm saying,
why did he just intercept that ball? Why is he returning it for TD?
He's in that mold of the Javon.
The category,
that
I got
category. There's not a lot of humans that are 6'5", because he's been 290, almost 300 pounds, and had his hand in the dirt at one time, and still ran and was on tape flashing speed like that. Like, I'm just saying, like, he's in that category of large humans that have all those athletic traits. There's not a lot of them that come to off the top of my head when I can think of all those things, that size, speed, range, just everything. Like, and he's a good football player, and he can play multiple positions. Like, I don't think there's anything to be upset about. And anybody that doesn't already see the satisfaction in that the fact that we drafted the best defensive back in the entire draft and picked the first defensive back in the entire draft, if he hasn't already proven his worth, I don't know what you've been watching either. Any man that can run from 30 yards down the field and make a tackle for loss on a running back and lay the boom like that, I don't know. That makes me freaking giddy when I'm watching a football game. Doesn't matter whose team it is. It makes me even more giddy. It's the Packers finally. But, yeah, that kind of crap, ooh, that makes my skin tingle in happiness.
Well, all I know is I was just reading something from Andy Herman that made me what we're talking about now. So Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, Adrian Amos are all plus 7.05 in ROI combined for Brian Gutekunst. That's 3 people combined for that, Jay.
And for the people that doesn't understand or know what ROI is, explain that for them, please, Dave, Mr. Technician.
I just had the definition of up here. It's a metric value. Basically, it's return of investment. Sorry. My brain functions. I just read it too. It's return of investment